Good evening, children.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Wait for a long time. I'm very sorry. Couldn't start on time. Please excuse me, children. Very, very sorry for that. I think you've been in the meeting for 15 minutes. Very sorry, children. Good evening, everybody. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, children.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
All right, children. Without any further delay, let's get started. All right, children. So when we discuss the answer to this question, okay, let's see the question first. So in what ratio does the point P2, minus 5 divide the line segment joining A and B? So it's represented here in this line segment. You can see A 3 minus 3, 5, B 4, minus 9, and P is the point of division. P lies on AB. P lies on AB. P is the point of division. It lies on AB. And we know the coordinates of P, 2, minus 5. We know the coordinates of P, 2, minus 5. Now the question is to find the ratio. In what ratio does P divide AB? So we don't know the ratio. We have to find the ratio. Let the ratio be k:1. Let the ratio be. Children, we have already discussed this. I've just, given the alternate approach. We just discussed this, but it was not, you were not able to see this answer because it was not prepared the other day. So just want to tell you about this one. So let the ratio be k:1. You know this, use the ratio is k:1, work and find the value of k. K is 5/2, so the required ratio is 5:2. Now I was telling you that you can also assume the ratio to be m:n. Let the required ratio be m:n. You can go by this approach. Let the ratio be k:1 or let the ratio be m:n. So see the information in the line segment here. A, B, P2, minus 5 ratio m:n. Let the ratio be m:1. Now we know that we can find the ratio using the x coordinate of P or the y coordinate of P. The ratio can be found. The ratio in which this point P, please listen to this, children, don't see the answer. The ratio in which the point P divides the line segment AB, it's AB, children, not Q. It's not Q, it's AB. So it's B here, children. It's B here. Okay, so the ratio can be found using the x coordinate of the point of division or the y coordinate of the point of division. That is the x coordinate of P, 2, or the y coordinate of P, which is minus 5. So since I've used x coordinate of P in this approach, I've used y coordinate of P here. Okay, so it's not that if you use the ratio m:1, you must use the y coordinate. It's not like that. You can use 2 or minus 5. Any one of the two you can use. Okay, so let the ratio be m:1. And here the y coordinate of P is minus 5. This is the point of division. Y coordinate is minus 5. But the y coordinate is given by m y2 plus n y1 by m plus n, which is minus 5. So m into y2, that is minus 9, plus n into y1, that is 5, by m plus n is equal to minus 5. See, we don't know m and n, so m plus n is equal to minus 5. So this will be minus 9m plus 5n by m plus n is equal to minus 5. Cross multiply, we get this. Cross multiply, we get this. And then, yeah, you understand minus 4m is equal to minus 10n. You understand all this. Then minus gets cancelled. Dividing by 2 on both the sides, we have 2m is equal to 5n. And now we need to find the ratio m:1. So 2m by n is equal to 5. We understand this. 2m by n, because we want the ratio m by n. So we'll bring this n down here. So 2m by n is equal to 5. Now we don't want the 2 here. So m by n is equal to 5 by 2. The 2 comes for division to the other side. So the ratio is 5 by 2. The required ratio is 5:2. That means P divides AB in the ratio 5:2. This way also. To find the ratio, we use either the x coordinate of P or the y coordinate of P. Using any one of the two, you can get the ratio. The ratio can be taken as k:1 or m:n. When you take it as k:1, you will get the value of k. Supposing you get k:7, what is the ratio? Supposing k:7, then what is the ratio? Class, are we there? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
children.
ma'am.
Yes, children. If k is 7, what is the ratio? When you assume the ratio is k:1 and you get k:7, what will be the ratio?
7:2.
Why 7:2?
7:1.
7:1. 7:1. Supposing when we assume the ratio is k:1 and the value of k is 7. When the value of k is 7, the ratio will be 7:1. K:1, 7:1. Whatever is the value of k is to 1. Whatever is the value of k is to 1 because the ratio is k:1. The ratio is k:1. The ratio is k:1. So whatever is the value of k is 5 by 2. K is 5 by 2. So 5 by 2 is to 1. 5 by 2 is to 1. Now, as we understood in the last class, you can multiply. Now, this is nothing but now we were talking about equivalent fractions. So when you have 3 by 4, you can multiply the numerator by 2, the denominator by 2. 3 into 2, 6, 4 into 2, 8. 3 by 4 is the same as 6 by 8. 3 by 4 is the same as 6 by 8. Similarly here, this is 5 by 2 by 1. 5 by 2 by 1 divided by 1. 5 by 2 divided by 1. So we are multiplying the numerator and denominator by 2. 5 by 2 into 2. So 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So you will get 5. By 1 into 2 is 2. So the ratio is 5:2. But 5 by 2 is to 1, meaning 5:2. We are just multiplying 5 by 2. Multiply 5 by 2 by 2. 5 by 2 into 2. 2 and 2 will get cancelled. So 5. 1 into 2 is 2. 5:2 is the ratio. You can do it using m:1 or k:1. Is that fine, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, you can take a screenshot of this one. I've just worked this one also using the ratio m:1. I worked this also using the ratio m:1. That's all. Take a picture. All right. These we finished, children. All this we finished. Yeah, this one also I reworked because the other day it was x1, y1, so it was a little confusing. So I thought I'll just rework it using AB. Let me read the question for you. If the point P divides the line segment joining A and B in the ratio 3:4. So the ratio is 3:4. Point P divides the line segment AB. Point P divides the line segment AB in the ratio 3:4. So the other day it was let the coordinates of B be x1 comma y1. So it was a little confusing. So I just changed it to A comma B. So let the coordinates of, we have to find, see children, we are using the section formula. You can use a section formula to find, you can use a section formula to find the x coordinate and the y coordinate of the point of division. You can use a section formula to find the ratio. And here see you're using the section formula to find the coordinates of B. To find the coordinates of B. So let the coordinates of B be A comma B. So see here, let P divide the join of A and B in the ratio 3:4. B A comma B. Coordinates of B A comma B. So how do we find? How do we apply the section formula? Section formula, you know, is used to find the coordinates of the point of division. So how do we use the section formula? 3 into A, mx1, m3 into x. Sorry, m into x2. So m is 3. X2 is A, mx2, 3 into A, plus nx1, 4 into 2, correct? 4 into 2 by m plus n, by 3 plus 4. mx2, 3a, plus nx1, 4 into 2, 8, by m plus n, by 7. Comma, y coordinate 3 into y2, 3b, plus ny1, n into y1. It's something like cross multiplying, you know, see here, from here, see from here, let's do it again from the x coordinate, 3 into a plus 4 into 2 by 3 plus 4 for the x coordinate. For the y coordinate, 3 into b plus 4 into 5. Like your, you know, that multiplication sign, your cross multiplying kind of. 4 into 5, 20 by 3 plus 4. But we know that the coordinates of P are -1, comma 2. So which means 3a plus 1, 3a plus 8 by 7 is equal to -1, and 3b plus 20 by 7 is equal to 2. On equating and solving, we find the values of a and b. Yeah. I just upgraded the slides. We've discussed all this, just recall, read it for yourself and recall. So what is P? What can you say about P? In the second figure, what can you say about P? The point P.
Ma'am, midpoint.
Midpoint of AB, ma'am.
P is the midpoint of AB. P is the midpoint of AB. What about N?
Midpoint of
N.
BC, ma'am.
Midpoint of BC. And M?
Midpoint of AC.
It's the midpoint of AC. So now if you know the coordinates of A, B, and C, okay, you know the coordinates of A, B, and C. How will you find the coordinates of P, M, and N? You know the coordinates of A, B, and C. How will you find the coordinates of P, N, and M?
Ma'am, dividing by 2, ma'am.
Dividing by 2 meaning? Yeah, you're right, but express yourself more clearly.
P is equals to AB by 2, ma'am.
AB by 2. No.
Ma'am, P is equal.
No. Okay. 1 minute, Priyadarshini. Not like you know the length of the line segment AB is 10 centimeters. So AP will be 5 centimeters. PB will be 5 centimeters. That is different. Yeah, you're right. When AB is 10 centimeters, AP will be 5 centimeters and PB will be 5 centimeters. No, our discussion is different. You know the address of A, the coordinates of A. You know the coordinates of B. You know the coordinates of C. How will you find the coordinates of P? How do you find the coordinates of N and M?
AP square plus BP square.
Children, my question is
And by midpoint formula.
Yeah, by midpoint formula. What's the formula? What's the midpoint formula?
X1 plus X2 by M plus N.
What is that?
X1 plus X2 by 2, ma'am.
X1 plus X2 by 2, and then the Y coordinate?
Y1 plus Y2 by 2.
Y1 plus Y2 by 2. See, children, now you know the address of A. Now, just to make it simple, okay, we'll just call it 0, 0. Let A be 0, 0. And let the coordinates of B be, say, like 4, 4. Just assume 4, 4. So the coordinates of P will be, see, I said this is 0, 0, and this is 4, 4. In that case, the coordinates of P will be, this is x1, y1, 0, 0, 0, x1, y1. This is x2, y2, 4, 4. So it will be x1 plus x2 by 2, 0 plus 4 by 2. So 4 by 2, which is 2. And again, y1 plus y2 by 2. Again, 0 plus 4. Y1 plus y2 by 2. So 2. So the coordinates of P will be 2, 2. Similarly, to find the coordinates of N, this will be x1, y1, this will be x2, y2. Or you can take this as x1, y1 and this as x2, y2. The one x coordinate, one y coordinate, x1, y1, x2, y2. See, N is the midpoint of BC. N is the midpoint of BC. So you must use the coordinates of B and the coordinates of C to find the coordinates of N. So you can take this as x1, y1, this one as x2, y2. The coordinates of N will be x1 plus x2 by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 by 2. Is that clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So we are not talking about the length of the line segment. We're talking with the address of the point. We're talking with the address, the x coordinate and the y coordinate of P, N, and M.
No, my doubt.
Yes. What's your doubt?
Now, for finding the P coordinate, we can also use the AB, the whole square is equal to AP square plus BP square.
To find what? Come again, to find?
the coordinates of P, ma'am.
To find the coordinates of P, what?
Can we use that AB the whole square is equal to AP whole square plus BP whole square? Let the PB F comma B that like.
No, you're talking about line segments. How will you get the coordinates? One minute.
Okay.
You just come again. AP square. I didn't get it clearly. AP square.
AP square plus BP square, ma'am. That first formula.
AP square plus BP square will give what?
Is equal to AB the whole square.
Okay, but you're dealing with lengths. How will you get the address? How will you get the x coordinate and y coordinate?
Okay, ma'am, I understood.
Okay. Now, when we say AP square, you're talking about the length of the lines. When you say AP, you're talking about the length of AP. So that will not help you to get the coordinates of P. To get the coordinates, you should deal with the coordinates.
Okay.
X1 plus, yeah, okay. We discussed all this the other day. I did not have the slides ready the other day, so I had to tell you orally. You can take a screenshot. You've understood all this, take a screenshot. I told you about circumcenter and center the other day. So we know how to construct perpendicular bisectors. The perpendicular bisectors of the three sides of the triangle, they will go through the same point. When you construct the perpendicular bisectors of the three sides of the triangle, the three lines will pass through the same point, and that point is called the circumcenter. So about the sides, perpendicular bisectors, three sides, three perpendicular bisectors, they are concurrent. This point is called the circumcenter. Now, when you take the angles, the three angles of the triangle, okay, and when you construct the bisectors of the angles, you bisect angle A, you bisect angle B, you bisect angle C. The angular bisectors are also concurrent. The angular bisectors are also concurrent. And the point of concurrence is called the incenter. The point of concurrence is called the incenter. So this is the incenter. This is the incenter. So if this is the incenter, if you join the incenter to the vertex, just imagine, just imagine you have a triangle, children. You have a triangle, okay, and you have its incircle and the center, incenter. Please visualize that triangle. You have the incircle. You don't have all this construction, nothing you have. You just have a triangle, an empty one, okay, An empty triangle, and you have the circle in it. You have the circle in it. You have the circle in it. It's in circle, and then the incenter is given to you. The incenter is given to you. When you connect the incenter to this vertex like this, when you connect the incenter to the vertex, that means the angle will be bisected. Because the point that connects the incenter and the vertex is the angular bisector. When you connect, see, I told you, you only have a triangle with the circle, with the incircle and the incenter. You don't have anything else. Only three things: triangle, incircle, and the incenter. If you join the incenter to the vertex C, angle C will be bisected. If it is, like say 70, if it is 50 degrees, it will be 25, 25. When you join this to this. Similarly, when you join the incenter to vertex A, when you join the incenter to vertex A, the angle here will be bisected. Remember this property. So again, when you join the incenter to the vertex B, the angle at B is bisected. Because the the line that connects the center to the incenter to any of the three vertices is the angular bisector. All right, take a screenshot. Yes, I'll give you some time. Go through the slide and I'll ask one of you to explain it. Okay. So let me begin. So we have a triangle ABC. Coordinates of A, x1, y1. Coordinates of B, x2, y2. Coordinates of C, x3, y3. Now AD is given. Okay, D is the midpoint of BC is given to you. D is the midpoint of BC, which means AD is the median. If D is the midpoint of BC, it means AD is the median. And we know that the centroid is located on every median. If you take up a median in a triangle, then definitely G lies on it, the centroid. Centroid lies on every median. Centroid is a point which is common to all the three medians. So if D is the midpoint of BC, then AD is the median. If AD is the median, then definitely the centroid lies on it. The centroid is normally represented by the letter G. So G lies on AD. And we also know that G divides AD in the ratio 2:1. G divides AD in the ratio 2:1. So now look at it as a line segment, children. AD is the line segment. Now, how do we find the coordinates of D? How do we find the coordinates of D? Using the
Midpoint section formula, ma'am.
Yeah, section formula.
And section formula, ma'am.
Section formula, which is also the midpoint formula. So D is the midpoint. D is the midpoint of BC.
BC.
Yeah, so to find the coordinates of D, use the coordinates of B and C. Because D is the midpoint of BC, use the coordinates of B and C. Take the x coordinates, x2, x3. Add them, x2 plus x3. Divide by 2. X2 plus, see the formula is x1 plus x2 by 2. That is sum of the x coordinates by 2, sum of the y coordinates by 2. So here, these x2 is the x coordinate here and x3 is the x coordinate here. Children, any confusion there?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
You should simply add the, see, we have 2 points. We have 2 points. We have 2 x coordinates and 2 y coordinates. Add the x coordinates, divide by 2. Add the y coordinates, divide by 2. Now these two answers, results which you get will represent the coordinates of the midpoint. Okay, so D is the midpoint of BC. So by the midpoint formula, you can find the coordinates of D, the x coordinate and y coordinate. So x2 plus x3 by 2, y2 plus y3 by 2 will give the x coordinate and y coordinate of D using the midpoint formula. D is the midpoint of BC. So you must use the x coordinates of B and C and the y coordinates of B and C. All right, so that is one part. We found the coordinates of D. That's one part. Now look at the line segment AD, children. AD is a line segment. Its endpoints are A and D. Now we know the address of A is x1, y1. We did not know the address of D. That's why we found it now using the midpoint formula. We know the address, meaning we have assumed the address of A to be x1, y1. We did not know the address of D, so we found it using the midpoint formula. Now we know the address of A and address of D, and we know the ratio in which G, well, G is the point of division. G divides AD in the ratio 2:1. AD is the line segment. You know the coordinates of A and the coordinates of D. G is a point on AD. G divides AD in the ratio 2:1. Now we are trying to find the coordinates of the point of division G. We are trying to find the coordinates of the point of division G. So that's the direct application of the section formula. Section formula will directly give you the x coordinate of G and y coordinate of G. So how do we use the formula? So to find the x coordinate, you should use only the x coordinates of A and D. To find the x coordinate of G, To find the x coordinate of G, you should use only the x coordinates of A and D. To find the y coordinate of G, you must use the y coordinates of A and D. Okay, so AD is the line segment. AD is the median. It's a line segment. You know the address of A. We found the address of D using the midpoint formula. G is the point of division. G divides AD in the ratio 2:1. We want to find the x coordinate of G and the y coordinate. We want to find the x coordinate of G and the y coordinate of G using the section formula. So let's begin. Now, this is M. 2 is M. This is N. This is M. AD is the line segment. AD is the line segment. AD. So this is M. AG is to GD. AG is to GD is 2:1. So this is M, this is N. If this is M, this is only x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. It's like that. So 2 into this one, 2 into this x coordinate. Cross multiplying, no, kind of like that it works. So 2 into not this one, 2 into this x coordinate, 2 into x2 plus x3 by 2. See here? Why x is equal to, because the x coordinate of G is given by x. The x coordinate of G is given by x. So here you can see x is equal to 2 into this one. You can see it here, 2 into x2 plus x3 by 2 plus 1 into x1. 1 into x1. Which is x1 by m plus n, 2 plus 1. This is m, children. This is m. M x2 plus n x1. N is 1. So 1 into x1, which is x1 by m plus n, 2 plus 1. Now what happens? 2 and 2 gets cancelled. 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So you have x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. That's what you see here. Next, let's find the y coordinate of G, which is y. Y is equal to m cross multiply. M y2. M is 2. 2 into this one. M y2. So you can see it here. 2 into y2 plus y3 by 2. M into y2 plus n into y1. N is 1. 1 into y1. The y coordinate here. 1 into y1 by m plus n. 2 plus 1. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So you have y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. So the coordinates of G are, this is the x coordinate and this is the y coordinate. So x1, so what you finally get is the coordinates of G in terms of the vertices, in terms of the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle. See, x1, x2, x3, x1 plus x2, the x coordinate of G. The x coordinate of G is given by x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. Don't get confused. It's not 2, it's 3. And the y coordinate of the centroid is given by y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. So you can use this formula. Objective questions, it will be very useful. So if you want, so for this, you should be given the coordinates of A, coordinates of B, and coordinates of C. With this, you can find the coordinates of the centroid. The x coordinate of the centroid is x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. What are x1, x2, and x3? The x coordinate of A, the x coordinate of B, and the x coordinate of C. y1, y2, y3. y1 is the y coordinate of A, y2 is the y coordinate of B, and y3 is the y coordinate of C. So using the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle, you can find the x coordinate of G and the y coordinate of G. Midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. This is the coordinate of the centroid, the point where the medians meet. The address, not the length. It's not any distance or length. The address, x coordinate and y coordinate. Is it fine, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You need to write this in your book. Since I started a little late, I don't want to wait for you to finish writing this. Take a picture and make sure you complete this in your book, children. Just write the heading and leave some space so that you will realize that you have to complete something there. Just write the heading at least, or don't forget, keep some reminder. You don't forget to write this in your book. See, when you write it, you can remember better. That is why write. It's not a formality that you have a tuition notebook and so you have to fill everything in it. Writing is so important to remember things for a long time. Okay. So you can see it here. To find the, coordinates of the centroid. Find the centroid of triangle ABCs. Find the centroid meaning find the coordinates of the centroid. It's understood. Find the centroid meaning find the, centroid is a point. It does not have any length. Centroid is a point. It does not have any length. So find the centroid meaning find the coordinates of the centroid of triangle ABCs of triangle ABC whose vertices are given there. You see the answer? All right. I don't think you should have any doubt here.
Mummy, right question.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. See this? Two vertices of a triangle are given by A 6, 4, B minus 2, 2, and its centroid is G 3, 4. Find the coordinate of the third vertex. So here we are given A and B, and we have to find C given the centroid. I'm just waiting for you to read because it's quite simple. I don't think I need to explain, but let's see. Just have a look. So we are given the coordinates of the centroid 3, 4. But how do we find it? x1, 6, x2, -2, and x3, which is x. Because you should take the x coordinate of ABC of the vertices. You must take the x coordinate of x coordinates of the vertices A, B, and C. So you should take 6 -2, and the third vertex you don't know. So x. So 6 plus -2, that is 6 -2 plus x by 3 will be the x coordinate. The y coordinate will be 4 plus 2 plus y by 3, as it's worked here. So this is what we get as the address of the centroid using the formula. But it's given that the centroid is given by the address 3, 4. So equating the x coordinate, this one should be equal to 3 and this should be equal to 4. On equating, you can find the values of x and y, and hence you can make the coordinate of C, 5, 6. Isn't that simple, children?
Yes, ma'am.
We know the coordinates of the centroid 3, 4. We know it, but we are finding it using the formula. By the formula, we find the coordinates of the centroid. So by the formula, we get the coordinates of the centroid are 4 plus x by 3 and 6 plus y by 3. But we know it is 3, 4. That means the x coordinate here should be equal to the x coordinate here. The y coordinate here should be equal to the y coordinate here. So like that, we find the values of x and y. And hence, we get the coordinate of C. Oh, you need to take a picture, children. Yes, take a picture. All right. So the heading is find the distance between the points P and Q. Find the distance between the points. Find the distance between the points P and Q. So see here, PQ is equal to, what's the distance formula, children?
Root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square.
Very good. Tell me in words. Square root of?
Square root of abscissa say the whole square root of difference between the abscissa the whole square plus difference of ordinates the whole square.
Very good, Thirunesh. Thank you. Very good. Most of us know it, but then there's a like traffic jam, so some of us just held back. It's okay. I understand that. Okay. Yes. Anybody else wants to say? Tell me in words.
Root of difference of x axis the whole square
Plus?
Difference of y axis the whole square.
Okay, we'll say y coordinates. Okay, y coordinates, x coordinates, and y coordinates. Very good, very good. Okay, children. So that's what it is here. So you can see this is the x coordinate of P. This is the x coordinate of Q. difference between them. So you can see here, a sine alpha minus a cos alpha the whole square plus difference between the y coordinates, a cos alpha, difference, so minus into minus plus children, plus a sine alpha the whole square. So this here we have just applied the formula. Square root of, you should not find PQ square, children. That is only for equation. When PQ is equal to QR, PQ square is equal to QR square. Here you cannot find PQ square. You should find PQ. You can write PQ square is equal to, but finally you should find PQ, not PQ square. So PQ is equal to square root of difference between the abscissa the whole square plus difference between ordinates the whole square. Okay, after this, children, look carefully. There's something common. There's something common. So we'll take out the common factor. See the square here, the square here. Now you can see the square bracket. I've opened and closed the square bracket, and the square is out here. The square is here. Okay, now here inside what happens is a is common. So see here, a is common. So in the bracket, you will get sine alpha minus cos alpha. The entire thing is squared. Here also you can see this entire thing is squared. See, because the entire thing, this whole thing is squared. So this whole thing is squared. Open and close a square bracket and raise it to the power 2. Now take out common, a common. You should do that only. You open a square bracket, leave some place like this, and then close a square bracket, raise it to the power 2. Now in this place, in this space, take out, do that working, take out a common, open a bracket, sine alpha minus cos alpha, close the bracket. Plus, same thing here, a common. So open a square bracket, leave some place like this, close the square bracket and raise it to the power 2. Do that first. Then in this expression, a is common. A is common. So take out a, open a simple bracket, cos alpha plus sine alpha, close a simple bracket. This whole thing is squared because this whole thing is squared. Okay. Next, how to simplify this? This is raised to the power 2. So a squared, you can see it here, a squared. And then sine alpha minus cos alpha, the whole square. So you can see it here, children. We have applied the power 2 to a and this expression. We have applied the power 2 to a and this expression because whole square. So now we are separating it like a square and sine alpha minus cos alpha, the whole square. Plus, same thing here, same thing here. This power 2 is applicable to a and this cos alpha plus sine alpha. So a square sine alpha plus cos alpha whole square. Now again a square is common between the two. A square is common between the two. Between these two, a square is common. I missed the bracket here, children. Every year I have to say this, you know, I missed the bracket here. So you can see I should have opened a square bracket and closed it here. I should have. So it's not. So here we have two terms. A square is common. So I've taken out a square. I've taken out a square. I should have opened a square bracket, written this one, and then till here and then close the square bracket here. Please do that yourself. So again, children, I'm saying this one, this is one term plus this is the other term. These two terms have a square in common. So take out a square common, open a square bracket, write this one plus a square is common out here. So write this one and close the square bracket. The square bracket is missing from here to here. The square bracket is missing. Now, because a square, it's a square, right? So it'll come out as a. It's a square, it'll come out as a. Here you cannot do that because it's connected by a plus sign. You cannot bring out a. It's connected by a plus sign. After taking out a square common, this a square comes out as a. Now what happens to this? This is like a minus b the whole square plus a plus b the whole square, which is nothing but 2 of a square plus b square. This one, see here, a square comes out as a. That's over. Now square root of, in the bracket what you have is, you have a minus b the whole square plus a plus b the whole square. You can see the identity here also. So this can be written as 2 of a square plus b square. But this is sine square alpha plus cos square alpha, which is 1. Sine square theta plus cos square theta is 1. So 2 into 1, 2. So it's nothing but root 2 a units. A outside the square root, root 2 a units. PQ is equal to root 2 a units. So after writing this, after writing this, taking out a common, make sure that you put the square carefully. Then a square, and then square these two. Take out a square common. In the bracket, you have this. Now this is like a minus b the whole square plus a plus b the whole square, which is 2 of a square plus b square. And sine square alpha plus cos square alpha is 1. So 2 into 1, 2. Root 2 a units. Take a picture, children. Help yourself with this.
Ma'am, can you show last slide?
The previous one, huh?
Yes, ma'am. I took one.
Okay. Yes, you can take a screenshot. Also work the second one. Find the distance between A and B, minus 8 by 5 comma 2 and 2 by 5 comma 2. Take a picture, children.
Took, ma'am.
All right. See, yeah.
Only please.
All is right. Huh?
Yes, from 50.
Okay. So the centroid of triangle ABC is at the origin, or is the origin. Find the value of A plus B plus C. So sometimes, you know, I'll tell you what I have done. When it is objective, sometimes in school, teachers don't want you to use that centroid formula. What is the formula to find the coordinates of the centroid, children?
From x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 and y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3.
Yeah, now, so rules keep changing, but I'll tell you what was existing. Now, the latest thing your teacher will tell you in school. Now it's going to be objective style. So you can use the formula x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3, y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3. So this one is earlier, you know, if it was a 1 mark question, you can use the formula. If it is not a 1 mark question, then you had to show the steps. You were not allowed to use the formula. So I have worked it like this. So I have worked it like this. See, I have not used the formula to find the centroid here. X1 plus. Okay, let me tell you the answer. Now see how it's given that the centroid is at the origin. So G is given by 0, 0. So what is the value of A plus B plus C? See here, A plus B plus C. The x coordinates, add the x coordinates, A plus B plus C by 3 is equal to 0, right? X1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. X1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3. A plus B plus C by 3 is equal to 0. So on cross multiplying, you will get A plus B plus C is 0. Try for the y coordinate of G, children. How do you find the y coordinate of G? No, how do we, what is the formula to find the y coordinate of G?
Ma'am, y1 plus y2 plus y3
y1 plus y2 plus y3 by 3.
By 3. What is y1 here?
Ma'am, B, ma'am.
B,
Y2.
C,
Ma'am, A plus C by 2.
C. C by 2.
Yes.
Why C by 2?
A plus C by 2.
No, this is x1, y1. This is x2, y2. This is x3, y3. x1, y1. x2, y2. x3, y3. So
B
when it
plus
is
C plus A by 2.
B plus C?
Plus A by 3. Ma'am.
Yeah, B plus C plus A by 3 is equal to what? Will give you what?
What? Y
0.
coordinate of G, ma'am. 0, ma'am.
Y coordinate of G, and that is nothing but 0. Correct. So B plus C plus A by 3 will give us the y coordinate of G, and that is 0. That means it's equal to 0. So B plus C plus A by 3 is equal to 0. So on cross multiplying, you will get A plus B plus C is 0. Even if you use the x coordinate, x1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 is equal to 0. On cross multiplying, you will get A plus B plus C is equal to 0. I was trying to say that if it is 1 mark, you can do that. So earlier, if it was not for 1 mark, you had to show the steps. So for that, you have to take a median. You have to take a median. So I have taken the median AD. I've taken the median AD. Find the coordinates of D using the midpoint formula. So it will be B plus C by 2, comma, C plus A by 2, x1 plus x2 by 2, y1 plus y2 by 2. So find the coordinates of D using the midpoint formula. B plus C by 2, C plus A by 2. Now you know the x coordinate of G is 0. The x coordinate of G is 0. But how do you find the x coordinate? Mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n is 0. What's the ratio? 2:1 is a ratio. You know the ratio is 2:1. So 2 into, see, this is A comma B. I've shown the I've represented AD alone here. See here, AD alone here. AD, this line segment AD. AD, you can see this is D, this is the point D. AD 2:1, G 0, 0. This line segment alone I've shown here. A, D, A given by A comma B, D given by this, G 2:1. So how do we find what is the x coordinate of G? 0. X coordinate of G is 0. But how do you find the x coordinate? Mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n. 2 into x2 plus 1 into x1 by 2 plus 1. But that is 0. So on cross multiplying, you will find A plus B plus C is 0. Or you can also use the y coordinate of G. You can also use the y coordinate of G. So earlier students were expected to do like this if it was not for 1 mark. They were not supposed to use the midpoint the formula to find the centroid. Now for you this year it's going to be objective style, so you can directly use as a formula. X1 plus x2 plus x3 by 3 is equal to 0. So A plus B plus C by 3 is equal to 0. Cross multiplying A plus B plus C is 0. Finished. Take a picture, children. All right. This one. If ABCD is a square. No. Why? Which one do you want?
From previous cycle.
I think only this. You don't have to take the picture. See, did you take this one?
No.
Of this, after this?
Yes, no.
Yeah. I'm skipping these. I'm taking up this one. Yeah. So if ABCD is a square with A 3, 4, C 1, -1, find the coordinates of B and D. This is what is given. Square AC BD. So it can be like this. The square can be marked A, B, C, D like this, or it can be A, B, C, D like this. That is, the vertices B and D are opposite vertices. The vertices B and D are opposite vertices. B can be here, or it can be here. B can be here. Okay, the working is very simple, children. Now to find the coordinates of B and D, you don't have to assume the coordinates of B and D. Take any one. See, like, you will understand things when we complete the answer in full. So Don't worry if you have any questions at this point. So now to find the coordinates of B and D, you don't have to assume both. Assume any one. Either assume the coordinates of D or assume the coordinates of B. Any one will do. So I have assumed the coordinates of B, X comma Y. Now see here, all this you children, I've just written for your reference. You don't have to write all this. You don't have to write, children. It's just for you to understand that I've mentioned all this. So let B be the let the coordinates of B be X comma Y. Now what you have to work, I've written. You need to work two conditions. AB is equal to BC. AB is equal to BC. Why AB is equal to BC? Because it's a square, all sides are equal. And why AB? Because we know the coordinates of A, B, and C. So let us do something with A, B, and C. So AB is equal to BC. Of course, CD is equal to AD. Of course, CD is equal to AD. But since we know the coordinates of A, B, and C, all right, since we know the coordinates of A, B, and C, let's work AB is equal to BC. That is the first thing. Okay, we work this condition AB is equal to BC. Then we also work Pythagoras theorem. We connect the diagonal AC. We don't connect the diagonal BD. We connect the diagonal AC so that we have the right triangle ABC. See, we have the vertices A, we have assumed B and C. So we want to do everything with A, B, and C. We don't want to use D at all. We don't want to use D. So the first condition you're going to work is AB is equal to BC. The next condition is join the diagonal AC and work A. You know that AC square is equal to AB square plus BC square because this is a right triangle. So on working these two, you will be able to find the coordinates of B. You will get two sets. You will get two different coordinates for B. So one will be for B, the other will be for D. So children, the other thing is when you're working, so you will get one equation, you will get one equation in X and Y here. Here you will get an equation in X square and Y square. How can you solve them? So you have to use a substitution method. These are the things you'll have to remember. So in one, you will get a linear equation in X and Y. Okay, you will get something like 3x minus 4y is equal to 9. But in the second one, when you work the second one, you will get something like 4x square minus y square is equal to 5. I'm just saying, for example, 4x square minus y square is equal to 5. So the first equation is an x and y. The second equation is an x square and y square. So how to solve? Using the substitution method. Using the substitution method. So when you have to find, so what is this question? It's about a square. You know the address of A and C. You know the address of A and C. You need to find the address of B and D. So here we have assumed the address of B to be X comma Y. You don't have to assume for D. B itself, you will get two answers. So one will be for B, the other one will be for D. Then we have to work two equations. First one, AB is equal to BC because all sides are equal. AB is a line segment. AB is equal to BC, and we can find using the distance formula. That one. Then join the diagonal AC and use Pythagoras theorem in triangle ABC. So these are the two conditions you will be working with. And since one will be linear and the other quadratic, we will use a substitution method to find the values of X and Y. You can remember all this. Very easy. Children, this one I want you to work in the class. This one I want you to work in the class. I've told you how the answer goes. I've told you how the answer goes. So see here, first work AB is equal to BC. AB square is equal to BC square. So on substituting and all that, see, you get an equation in x and y. You stop here. How do you know that you have to write this? How do you know that you have to write this? AB is equal to BC, AB square is equal to BC square. Yeah, like this. You get a linear equation x and y. You can stop here because you don't know that you have to write this. So you can stop here. Now then take up the right triangle. ABC, Pythagoras theorem. And this is just the distance formula. AC square. This is the AB square. BC square. Then when you expand and all that, 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 square is 4. Okay, on simplifying, children, you'll have to open up the brackets. You cannot get this step directly. The answer will look too lengthy, you know, when I do all that simplification, then the answer will look too lengthy and it will be like, I thought kind of intimidating for you to really try it. So I thought, let me not show those steps.
In 1 week, can you show the diagram?
Yeah, just a minute, I'll show you. So if I show you the in-between steps, that itself will take like, I think some 3 to 4 steps. I calculated and wrote the final equation straight away here. But you cannot, from this step, you cannot get this, children. You have to show the working. From this step, you cannot get this step. There will be 2-3 steps in the middle. Because it looked too lengthy, I just omitted those steps and I wrote this straight away. Now, so what you see is when you work the second one, you're getting a quadratic equation. But when you work the first one, you got a linear equation. So what we do is we go back to the linear equation and we write y in terms of x, or you can write x in terms of y. Anything. Y in terms of x or x in terms of y. Why? Because the second one is quadratic. The first one is linear. How to work them? By the substitution method. So go back to the first equation, which is linear. Go back to the first equation, which is linear, and write one in terms of the other, x in terms of y or y in terms of x. So what have we got? Y is equal to, children, this you must know. How to write y is equal to this one. You do one, while making graph, you do right. No, I'm not telling you how we get this, even if you don't understand. Use this equation and write y in terms of x. So y is equal to 23 minus 4x by 10. So what you do, you come back to the second equation. Wherever there is y, you must replace it with 23 minus 4x by 10. So there is y here. So 23 minus 4x by 10 the whole square, because y is square. And there's y here, 3y. So 3 into y. This is y. 23 minus 4x by 10. Now you'll have to solve this carefully. Take up LCM and all that carefully. Here I've shown all the steps. Nothing is missing here. Take up the LCM and all that. Then you get a quadratic equation. Divide by 29 throughout. You get a simpler quadratic equation. Split the middle term. And we get 2 values for x. Use that, this equation for y. Uses the equation for y is equal to 23 minus 4x by 10. Use that and find the corresponding y values. You got 2 x values. Find the corresponding y values. So when you get y is 1 by 2, the point can be 9 by 2, 1 by 2. 9 by 2, 1 by 2. Or when x is minus 1 by 2, you get 5 by 2. So the point can be minus 1 by 2, 5 by 2. So that means if this is the coordinate of B, then this will be the coordinate of D. Or if this is the coordinate of B, then this will be the coordinate of D. So if B takes this address, then D will take this address. Or if B takes this address, then D will take this address. So like this, we found the address of B and D, but we assumed only for B. Let B be X comma Y. With that, we can find both. Please do.
This one took screenshot.
Yeah, is this over? Shall I show the next slide?
Ma'am, should we take screenshot or write now, ma'am?
No, now this one you should. We are all working now in the class. I'll give you time. I'll also show that slide. Yeah. Please take the question from here. Please write the question now in your notebook from here. Draw the diagram. The rest of the information, all this you don't have to write, children. This is just for you to understand the procedure. When you work the answer in a test or an exam, you don't have to write all this. Can I show you the next slide?
Drawing diagram.
Okay.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Yes, children. Take help. Don't go wrong. Take help from the slide.
I'm on doubt now.
Yes.
Ma'am, I found the value of AB is equal to BC by taking the root of 3 minus 1 the whole square. Is it correct?
You found the value of?
Ma'am, I used the distance formula to find this.
But Pythagoras theorem has square, no? So you cannot use square root of.
Okay.
Pythagoras theorem is AC square. So AC will have square root, but AC square will not have the square root.
And no, for finding that AB is equal to BC for the
Yeah, then you should square on both the sides. If you have the square root, then you say squaring on both the sides and remove the square root.
okay.
Yeah. Children, work this. I'll just get back in 5 minutes. Please work.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
All if you could work and get the equation 2.
Ma'am, one doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Shakti.
Ma'am, I got the second equation, ma'am. For the AB is equal to BC, I got some different answer.
AB.
Is equal to BC, I got some different answer.
You got a different answer, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
How, Shakti? You cannot get. Read out from your book.
Ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
when I took the root of 9 minus 6x plus x squared plus 16 minus 8y plus y squared, ma'am.
No, I think, I don't know from whose end there's a noise. Okay, Shakti, I'll just send a picture. I'm on WhatsApp now. Just send the picture.
Ma'am.
Yes, Parkavi.
Ma'am, in y equal to 23 minus 4x by 10, ma'am. But you have written as substituting when x is ma'am, can you scroll down?
Oh. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. When x is 9 by 2, you have written that 23 minus 4x square, ma'am. But it is 4x only, ma'am. Only 9 by 2 will come, ma'am. You have written as 9 by 2
9 by 2 is, no, that 9 by 2 is coming down, so it looks like that for you.
Okay,
Ma'am, I
ma'am.
have sent.
Yeah. Because x is equal to 9 by 2, no, this 2 looks like a square 4. Correct, Parkavi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Ma'am.
Yes, Shakti.
Ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, Shakti. Yes, who's that?
While multiplying negative 3 and negative 4x, we have written minus 12x.
Where? Which step?
Ma'am, below substituting 1 into the second step.
This one, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. No. See, I'll tell you one thing. Yeah, I'm really happy that questions are flowing in. Very good. Thank you. So when you this minus will be multiplied only when you take the LCM. Now I have multiplied only the 3 inside. 3 into 23. See this, when I take up the LCM, this minus will be applied inside. Now I'm multiplying only 3 and 23. 69. 3 and minus 4x, minus 12x. I'm just taking this number inside. This connecting sign minus remains here, minus. Then when you take the LCM, so where is this? This becomes 40. 1 minute. When you take up the LCM, where are we? Yeah, here. Okay, when we take the LCM, see here, minus 690, minus into minus plus 120x. Okay.
Yes, I understand.
Minus should be multiplied only once inside. We should not do it 2 times. This minus should be multiplied only once inside. When we take the LCM, multiply the minus sign. Now here I'm multiplying only 3 with 23 and 3 with minus 4x. Minus is here. When we take the LCM, this minus will be applied to 69 and minus 12x.
Yes, ma'am, I understand now.
Okay, thank you.
Ma'am, I got the answer, ma'am. I done the squaring.
Okay, thank you. I was just trying to, I just opened your answer and, okay, good. Good, you found it yourself. Okay. So children, here AB is equal to BC, AB square is equal to BC square. Substitution, I'm not telling you. But after that, you just have to square it. You will get 3 terms here, 3 terms here, 3 terms here, 3 terms here. Then getting everybody to one side and simplifying, you will get this equation. You should be able to do that. Just simplifying this, you will get this equation. And when you're working this, you will stop here. You will not know that you have to write y in terms of x. You will actually stop here. You stop there. Now, when we work the second condition, 3 minus 1 is 2. Don't apply a minus b the whole square here. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 square is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 square is 25. Here again, open the bracket. And on simplifying, you get this equation. Now this is quadratic while this is linear. So substitution method, write y in terms of x or x in terms of y and put it here. So wherever there is y, we use 23 minus 4x by 10. So see it, x square plus y square is 23 minus 4x by 10 the whole square. Minus 4x minus 3 into y. Minus 1 is equal to 0. X square plus square the numerator. 23 minus 4x the whole square. Square the numerator. Square the denominator. 10 square 100. Square the numerator. Square the denominator. Minus 4x. This minus as it is. Multiply 3 inside. 3 into 23 is 69. 3 into minus 4x minus 12x. Minus 1 is equal to 0. Now 100 is the common denominator. 100 is the common denominator. So it will be 100x square, 100x square. Here there's 100. So only this will come. Here there's already 100 in the denominator. So only this will come. Expand it. 23 square is 529. 4x the whole square is 16x square. And minus 2ab. Minus 2ab will give you this. Minus 2 into 23 into minus 4x will give you this. Sorry, minus 2 into 23 into 4x will give you this. And then here it is minus 4x by 1. So you should multiply by 100. Minus 4x by 1. So multiply by 100 minus 400x. So this is 100x square, the first term. Then when you open the bracket, you will get 3 terms. So 1, 2, 3 terms. Then this one is minus 400x. Here you will have to multiply the numerator by 10. You should multiply the numerator by 10. By 10 because 10 you have. 10 into 10 is 100. So multiply the numerator by 10. So 69 into 10 is 690. Minus 690. Minus into minus plus. 12x into 10 is 120x. And here it's minus 1. So you should multiply by 100. The common denominator is 100. So 1 into 100 is 100. Is equal to 0. Cross multiply. This 100 will go away. Meaning it will become 100 into 0 is 0. 100 into 0 is 0. Then on simplifying the x square terms, x terms, and the constants, you get this equation. Divide by 29 throughout. You get a simpler equation. Then split the middle term and get the two values of x. We know y is equal to 23 minus 4x by 10. We know that y is equal to 23 minus 4x by 10. Y is equal to 23 minus 4x by 10. So we have two x values. For these two x values, find the corresponding y values. For the two x values, there's an x value here, there's an x value here. These two x values. Find the corresponding y values. So we are interested in finding x comma y. So 9 by 2 comma 1 by 2 or 5 by 2. Sorry, minus 1 by 2 comma 5 by 2. X is 9 by 2. Then the corresponding y is 1 by 2. So 9 by 2 comma 1 by 2 or x is minus 1 by 2. Y is 5 by 2. So minus 1 by 2 comma 5 by 2. So we get two sets. X comma y is for B. X comma y is for B. B address of B. But B is getting two address. So B can be here or here, right? B can be located here or here. That's why you're getting two address for B. B can be here or here, like in this figure. B can be here, like in this figure, or B can be here, like in this figure. So we get two address for B. But if B is here, then there's D here. If B is here, then there's D here. Means if 9 by 2 comma 1 by 2 is the address of B, then this is the address of D. Or if this is the address of B, this is the address of D. I'll give you a similar one for homework. Take a screenshot of this one, children. So when you work this, you directly get the value of x. So see here, when you work this, no, you're getting the value. You're not getting a linear equation x and y. You're getting the value of x straight away. When you work this, you're getting the value of x straight away. So this is one other way of, this is one other type. Sometimes you get a linear equation. Sometimes you'll get the value of x or y straight away. So x is 1. So that makes our job so easy. So in the next equation, wherever there is x, we'll use 1. And we'll directly get the values of y. So when x is 1, y is 0. Because you have taken x1, right? So y is 0 or y is 4. That means when x is 1, y is 0. Or when x is 1, y is 4. 1 comma 0 or 1 comma 4. So here it is PQRS. So if this is P, this is S. If this is if this is Q. If Q and S are the opposite vertices. Q and S are the opposite vertices. If 1 comma 0 is for Q, then the other one 1 comma 4 is for S. And the vice versa here. Now what I'm trying to say is here, you're not getting a linear equation x and y. You're getting the value of x straight away. That's the difference. So when you get the value of x straight away, substitute the value of x here, and you get the value of y. Children. Okay, let me show you the answer fully. This is what it is. Practice this. Any questions here, children, in the previous one? It looks elaborate. Yeah, it looks elaborate. It's very simple. You know the two conditions. If you know the two conditions, it's all algebraic. Be very careful with the sign. One, it's some place if you put a plus or a minus mistake, if you make a mistake with the signs, then the entire thing will go wrong. And it's frustrating to find the mistake here. So take care, work it correctly in the first shot itself. I hope you took a picture of this one and the next one. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Anyways, just wait. Class, use the emoji. Raise your hand. See, already 2 left. 1 minute, please hold. That's lovely. Very good. So all of us are at a desk. Very good, very good. Thank you, children. So that's Akshay Ram, Adiravya, Hariharan, Shriya, Priya, Muttuvel, Ashwin, Shivani, Sudarshan, Nivedita, Lakshita, Shabarigrish, Shakti, Manasa, Priyadarshini, Srinivasan, Nafi, Parkavi, Rakshan, Harshita, Tirunesh. Okay, Harshita and Tirunesh. We never have full attendance. There are about 28 students, but we don't have 25 also. We normally have 22, 23 students. I don't know who's not joining regularly, or if we are taking, we are not attending classes regularly. Few of us, most of us are taking up the classes regularly. Otherwise, you are texting me whenever you miss the class. You have to miss the class for a good reason, like exams at school or whatever. Okay. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, children. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children. Good night.